this is Julian here. I was asking a question about how to make a song sound more flavorful or sound more stylized instead of playing just maybe like an A chord. Um, how do I take the A chord, like an A, B minor, E, B back into an A, make that song sound more stylish? So what I've done in the past is I basically just play the chords a little individually, the notes individually of the chord, basically. That's what I've done in the past, but what can I do to make that sound more interesting?
Hey, Julian, thank you so much for your question. It's a big question to answer because what you really need to do is to build up a lot of tools, little tools over time. But I'm going to give you a few to get started. So the progression that you had in there was A, B minor, E, D, and then back to A. Yeah, you could add the eighth notes in there, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's one thing you can do. Next thing you want to do is don't ignore the bass. So your bass line, you can add some rhythm into that to introduce some movement. So you could maybe put like a 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just add that in there and listen to what it does. Yeah. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. A 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2. I'm going to count this a different way just in case it's easier. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it gives you a little rhythm in there. So the difference that I'm doing there, by the way, is one of them is kind of a swing 16th notes, you know? 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and. Depends on whether you're swinging the rhythm or not. Works either way. Here's the straight rhythm. Right? Let me add the eighth note on the thumb to that. We'll see what we got so far. Here's another thing you can do with the bass. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So I'm playing the root and then the fifth. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let's mix that up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and. So there's that one. We're going to mix that up with this new one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Here's a mix up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Do you see what I'm doing there? So now I've kind of created a little pattern there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I just took two little ideas and put them together. You know, or you do that however you want to. You go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 not do it until the fourth time. So you might also want to throw in like a 1-4 relationship. So if D is 1, then G would be the 4 to D. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak it in on 3N. I'm just going to really quickly grab it and go right back. 3N. 1 and 2 and 3N, all right? Another thing you might want to do is to add the 2 to the chord. So even if the chord progression is A, B minor, E, D, maybe you play an A2 here where you just add that B. So it gives you this little tension. You hear that pop all the time. Probably wouldn't do it on the 2 minor there because you got a half step there. So it'd be a little harsh there depending on what you want. Next thing you want to do is utilize the power of your inversions. So if I'm on A here, I can go here, here, here. And I'm going to use that as a framework for like doing a run. So if I were going to do a run, and by a run I mean, you know, a bunch of notes in a row, also called a line sometimes, you would take maybe like an A2 chord here. And if I just went right up the scale, right up the chord, you know, I'm just making that up based on the notes from the A2 chord. So I might do something like this. All of that mostly comes from understanding your relationship with the inversions. You know, if I'm going here, I can just I can double the root, and now I've got sort of 2 inversions to work with. I can go